because history shapes democracy. The better hold that people have of their history, about their shared history in particular, how they relate to one another, how we got from then to now, and what it is that we share in that effort, the stronger a democracy is. Because in a democracy, what ordinary citizens think should happen is deeply influenced by what they think has happened. And so if those in power can distort or erase our common understanding of the past, then they weaken our ability to make informed decisions based upon authentic grounds about the future. And think about it, it's only in the last half century or so that the full story of America, I mean, sort of like get beyond the United States, but the full story of America has even started to become truly shared because it's been so dominated by these white-centered, comfortable, cozy, unchallenging, welcoming myths. And authoritarians, so that's largely thanks to the rise of Black history and women's history, and bottom-up perspectives that challenge that old white-centered mythology. But the authoritarians, particularly American authoritarians, just see that as a threat to their hold on power because they need that mythology. They attack any source of kind of a genuine, inclusive narrative because it ties us together, right? And it grounds us in a collective identity. It reminds us that the story of America is a story of protest, is a story of struggle, is a story of rebellion and resistance against exclusionary authority, mainly against an exclusionary authority that wants to suppress non-white peoples. If our heroes are John Lewis and Martin Luther King and Ida Bay Wells and W.E.B. Du Bois and Thaddeus Stevens and Frederick Douglass and Harriet Tubman, then they want to divide and conquer that rather than our heroes being George Washington and Thomas Jefferson and James Madison. If the exclusionary authoritarians are your heroes, then you know that they have already got a handle on what it is that they want to achieve. So they sabotage our common knowledge, they isolate us, they turn us against one another, and they undermine our sense of self. Confusion and resentment then leave people looking for a savior. This is what we learned from the 20s and 30s. Someone who conveniently wraps themselves in the flag, right? They're going to be authoritarians, but they're going to do that in the American way. And they're going to call it the American way. And they push a version of history that elevates only a narrow, exclusionary slice of America. So that's why we see efforts to remove these truths from museums, archives, public discourse, digital media, what we do here. Without an honest shared history of how we got here, we can't recognize easily what we could lose to make our democracy actually multiracial and inclusive. But we won't let that happen, will we? The truth is our defense.